Good morning, NerdCrafteria. It's Monday, December 2nd, and I wanted to give some quick feedback to Seeks for next season in video form as opposed to written form. So the first bit of feedback, really fast, is no spoilers, please. A big part of the spawn this season was all these. This is different. Was all of these spoiler type stuff, which is good. I mean, it gives people an idea of all the kinds of different cool blocks they can have. So like this room has just all these spoilerific little blocks. Like, oh my god, we can do this? But how do we do this? Okay, it's gonna be like super late game stuff for some of these things, like nano armor, or I don't know, this guy, the Urghast trophy, which by the way is a huge pain in the butt to kill. So there's just a lot of stuff in here that feels spoilery. So maybe we could just avoid spoilers in the next world. Also, it would make spawn a lot smaller, which is my next bit of feedback. We don't need an enchanting room at spawn. We're all going to be able to do that. A lot of these animated blocks, when you first spawn in, if you got, low machines, that's not going to work. I honestly think that when you spawn, this should be literally right in front of you, so that spawn should, you spawn in and boom, there you land, and there's your code of conduct right in front of you. I got in a little bit late this season, so maybe there was a big rush for the end or some kind of thing that happened, but I'd like to see some kind of community event around the end, and also some community building out there. It'd be nice to have some kind of event around the end. Basically, like we can just say, don't go to the end until X date. We're going to have a big event on that day. Everybody can participate, blah, 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 blah. And that way it's not like an immediate rush from the second people log in to get to the end. This was a good idea. I felt it came way too late in the season for it to be any use for people. So, and I mean, I know that end bees don't do a whole lot for the majority of bee usage, but I thought it was a good idea. So, yes, more of that. But also on that note, I'd like to see more community-based projects like that don't necessarily rely on the moderators. The trade hub, obviously I don't like the UUM trade hub, but I do like the idea of a trade hub for items that players can then use. So some kind of centralized trade hub for players, as opposed to just having, I know that Tango's got some stuff at his base that we can trade with via the mail system, but I like the idea of having, sort of rentable space in a central location like at spawn that players can then do this stuff with. I like it. It's good. This was another good idea that I don't think got really utilized, which is the fear I'd have with a trade hub, that it wouldn't get utilized because people are so, like, for me, I know it's hypocritical, but I don't spend a lot of time outside my own base because I build systems and I concentrate on my little tiny world, and then I forget about all the rest of the stuff. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know how to rectify that. Maybe not everybody feels that way. I definitely made use of the food because I don't like having to worry about that too much. I don't like having to farm and stuff. And because it was here, I took it. Even though I wasn't necessarily starting out, I took it. So that was good. TheMeFund, this is a good idea too. I probably should have dropped my glass files here since I had a ton of them. Mistcraft pages. This is a good idea, but I'd like to just see us be able to not just grab the pages, but also to create the books and then hand them off to someone for approval, and then see them, do their thing. I think that would be cooler. I think we should always have 5 or 6 different Mistcraft pages available to us, as opposed to the one that seemed to be available at the pastime. I also think that users should be able to create worlds and then submit them to Seeks for approval. So like for instance, if we go to an age and then find a couple pages that we like and we have something that we want to put together, we should be able to maybe make a forum post or something that enables us to tell what the age is, maybe show it in single player creative or something. I don't know how that would work. I don't know how it would work. It's just a suggestion off the top of my head that I just literally just thought of. But I wanted to play with Mistcraft a lot more, and it felt like we just were not allowed at all, as opposed to just visiting them, which just felt like visiting another world, like another, Nether or Twilight Forest or whatever. It didn't feel like we had any ownership over the idea. So I want to suggest a way to maybe have some voting on the forums or something to enable users to interact with Mistcraft a little bit more, because it is a really cool mod. And I was a huge fan of Myst as a kid. I played all the original games on their original platforms on my 486 way back in the day, and I loved them. So I want to mess with Mistcraft a lot more. Overall, I think I'd like to see a less elaborate spawn in general. I posted on the forums that I would like to not have the portals to Twilight and Nether and the End necessarily available right away. Maybe the End, I don't know. This was a good idea, except it didn't get utilized that well, because a lot of the staff just don't log into FTB, and obviously don't use the portals. I think we could probably do I think we could probably utilize these better without the portal gun portals. So another suggestion or idea I had from the Minecraft server is that they just use Nether portals, and they have a big central Nether portal hub that is all they did it as a community. They kind of cleaned it out so that it doesn't have mob spawn, and it's safe and protected, and everybody's portal is somehow connected to it. I like that idea better than this, just because then we can use these portals for other stuff around the because I at some point my quarry picked up a portal gun that was completely useless to me. So it'd be nice if I could just use the portals for something else. This is a good system. It's easy to do because you can just spawn in a portal or a portal gun and then have everybody shoot a little thing. It's great, but then other portals would be easy to do because the Nether is super small and yada yada yada. So I do like the idea of a portal hub. It's really convenient, especially for me, because I like to go look at other people's bases. But yeah. Okay, biggest gripe I had this season with FTB. Maybe I think too optimistically about the people who play on FTB. And again, I've been a little bit less active this season anyway, but I don't think that we necessarily need spawn protection. If somebody is really that desperate and is going to steal stuff from spawn, it's so desperate that they're going to steal stuff from spawn in such a way that we need to protect it via this mod protection, then that person I think is going to get found out pretty quickly and banned. I don't think that the majority of our community is going to be super gung-ho about stealing stuff from spawn, or from any of the other big community projects that we do. Yes, there is some griefing that happens sometimes, but overall I just feel like we're smarter people than that, and we're more respectful than that, and it leaves this big sort of blank space around spawn that just doesn't feel very, I don't know, collaborative or servery. Like, it feels like we're playing on a single player world even though we're playing in a multiplayer universe. And that felt kind of lame to me, because we couldn't build any community projects around spawn. You couldn't immediately come out and see something cool that somebody else has built or anything like that. It just felt it doesn't feel that fun. You couldn't set up player shops around spawn, which is something I like about the Minecraft server, is that there's like these little, I know I'm harping on the Minecraft server, but there's all these little projects and things around spawn that as soon as you spawn into the world, you're like, oh look, you know, Seth Bling built a little thing over there. That's cool. I'm gonna go check out what he's got for sale. And especially because we have warps and they don't, you can warp to spawn and find all the stuff that all the other players want to show off, as opposed to having to find their bases. Because some people don't have portals here, and warps are weird, blah 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 blah. It's hard to get all that stuff. So I like that we did all this stuff because, you know, we started a new pack and we wanted to show off all the cool stuff that's in the pack and yada yada yada. But I think that it would be cooler and more fun if we could have more community stuff right around spawn. We're supposed to be remembering to be awesome, and we're supposed to be good people, and if we're not, we get banned, and that's the end of the story. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt for a little while, but we're a community that helps each other, so even if somebody gets banned really bad, I feel like we can band together as a community and help that person restore their stuff and know that it's not going to happen again. So I think that's more important than having a big protected spawn area with 200 radius or whatever like there is in the regular NerdCrafteria server. Mostly because the regular NerdCrafteria server is not a whitelisted server. It's a public server that anybody can get on, and grief. And we have lots of griefer problems, but we don't have that many griefer problems on this server. So I think that we don't need to worry about that as much. I think I posted a link in the forums about a world map at spawn that the Minecrafters have. I don't know how maps work in Minecraft, in this particular version of Minecraft, because they're on like 1.7 now. But I'd like to see a big public map so that, and people could just update their homesteads as they get out there, so that you know, okay, so there's no guessing game anymore. So there's just one big map that has all the blocks in the world on it. You go, okay, I want to go over there where nobody has updated their map, so you can kind of have a pretty good idea that nobody's out there. So, you know, I think that's a pretty good idea that they had, and I'd like to implement that on our server. That can be set up by mods and admins as the server gets established. You know, they could just set up some basic stuff, and then people, like the 4 corners of the world or something, and then people can go and set their own bases up. I'll put another link to that video that I saw, I think it was on Seth Bling's channel. I'll put that in the description of the video here. And I'll also be super excited about the idea of building our own mod pack for NerdCrafteria FTB at some point in the future. So, that is the end. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the server. Bye-bye!